T4.8. Bias in a sampling method is blank. All right, so our first introduction to bias came with the Beyonce activity where you were asked to pick 5 words and then find the average, and then we used a random number generator to pick 5 words and find the average. And what I want to highlight here is that when you pick the 5 words, like the averages almost all tended to be too high, right? Like 99% of our averages or our estimates were above the truth, right? Here's the truth right here, 3.5, right? So we're looking at one underestimate and a bunch of overestimates, right? And so the method that we were using, picking the 5 words ourselves, almost always led to an overestimate. With the random number generator, right, now our estimates are more balanced. About half of them are underestimates and about half are overestimates. All right, so let's look at the 5 answer choices and see which one best captures what happened there in that Beyonce activity. Okay. Choice A, any difference between the sample result and the truth about the population. Okay. Well, even with the simple random sample, right, we were getting results that were not equal to the truth, right? And that's just, due to the random nature, right? Every sample is going to be a little bit different. They're not all going to produce the same estimates, right? So that doesn't really match what we think of when we're talking about bias. All right, B, the difference between the sample result and the truth about the population due to using chance to select a sample. Well, when we use chance, like a random number generator, okay, we tend to not get a whole lot of bias. The bias is a lot lower, okay? So B is not a good choice, right? Had it talked about not using chance, right, then I would like choice B, because when we don't use chance, like in a convenient sample, that's when the bias becomes present. All right, choice C. Any difference between the sample result and the truth about the population due to practical difficulties such as contacting the subjects selected. Okay, so that's very specific, like contacting the subjects. And actually that didn't even apply here, right? We were just picking words off of a page that had all the lyrics on it and we still got bias, right? So bias is present even when you don't have any subjects to contact. Okay. Choice D. Any difference between the sample result and the truth about the population that tends to occur in the same direction whenever you use the sampling method. All right. So that choice there sounds a lot like what we have here, right? When we use that convenience method, right, we got results that tended to occur in one direction, being above, when compared to the truth. Okay. All right. E talks about racism or sexism on the part of those who take the sample. Well, if we're talking about those who are taking the sample and they have those sort of views, that might be response bias, which is a specific type of bias, but that's not the general definition of bias. All right. So D is the best of the 5 choices here.